We'll call the October 1st meeting of the Cookeville City Council to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Miller?
Here.
Mayor Shelton?
Here.
Vice Mayor Wheaton?
Here.
Councilman Walker?
Here.
4 present.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite those that wish to do so to stand for the invocation given tonight by Councilman Walker, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America.
Dear Heavenly Father, let us give thanks for all that has been provided for us. In these times of uncertainty, help us to think of the members of our community that are in need of our kindness and generosity. Help direct us to endeavor forward and pick ourselves up as we venture to enhance our community with our neighbors. We keep you in our hearts and our minds. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consider approval of agenda as presented. Are there any changes?
No changes, Mayor.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton?
Aye.
Councilman Walker?
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 4A, consider appointment to the Cookeville Tree Board. Vice Mayor Wheaton.
Oh, I think that's changed back to you now. That was when I was presenting.
Mr. Mills, do you have that?
Yes, it's Delane Miller has been nominated by the tree board to serve on the tree board, replacing Ron Graves, whose term expired August 2020. Guy Zimmer, the chairman of the board, submitted a memo that was their nomination, and I would recommend for the appointment of Delane Miller.
Is there a motion for Delane Miller?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any further nominations? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton?
Aye.
Councilman Walker?
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Under old business 5A, consider approval of minutes of council meeting held on September 17, 2020. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton?
Aye.
Councilman Walker?
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Under the consent agenda, 6A, consider awarding bids for inventory items for Water Quality Control Department. 6B, consider awarding bids for uniforms, also Water Quality Control and Leisure Services. 6C, consider awarding bid for 60 30-foot aluminum poles for the Electric Department. And 6D, consider awarding bid for 175-watt KVA pad transformer for the Electric Department. Is there a motion on the 4 consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller?
Aye.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton?
Aye.
Councilman Walker?
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Under new business 7A, hold a public hearing and consider on first reading ordinance O200916 to amend the municipal code of the City of Cookeville by inserting in Title 15 entitled Motor Vehicle Traffic and Parking, a new Chapter 9 entitled Residential Parking Districts. John Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council members. Ordinance 0200916 is a proposed amendment to the Cookeville Municipal Code to establish a mechanism for the City Council to implement residential parking districts on residentially zoned streets in the City of Cookeville. A residential parking district would restrict on-street parking to only be utilized by residents who have obtained a valid parking permit from the City of Cookeville during days and times established by resolution by the City Council. A summary of the process the ordinance would establish to implement residential parking districts includes residential parking districts will be authorized by resolution of the City Council. A petition must be submitted to the Planning Department containing 2/3 or 66% of the dwelling units in the proposed area, defined as a minimum of 2 adjacent block faces and the block faces on the opposite side of the street. A block face is defined as all the properties on one side of a given existing street between 2 consecutive intersecting streets. Upon receipt of a valid petition, the Planning Department will conduct a parking study to evaluate parking utilization during peak periods. The Planning Department will make a recommendation to the Planning Commission based on the petition and results of the study on whether or not to designate an area as a residential parking district and the hours to authorize such restrictions. The Planning Commission will review the proposal, hold a public hearing, and make a recommendation to the City Council to approve or reject the petition to establish a residential parking district. The City Council will receive the recommendation by the Planning Department and Planning Commission and hold a public hearing on the matter. City Council will then approve or reject a resolution to establish a residential parking district and will establish any permit fees associated with establishment of the district. Residential parking districts shall only apply to block faces of streets zoned entirely as single-family residential districts. The City Council, at the Council's sole discretion, may by resolution dissolve any residential parking district authorized by the ordinance. This ordinance is a result of concerns from area residents regarding Tennessee Tech student commuter parking along East 8th Street. The Planning Commission unanimously approved the ordinance at the August 24th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about this proposed ordinance.
Thank you. At this time, we will open the public hearing portion of the meeting. Do we have anyone that would like to speak about this matter? Please come up to the lectern and identify yourself with your name and address, if you live inside the city limits or not, and a statement of no more than 3 minutes may be made pertaining to this item.
Good afternoon. I'm Susan Vandergriff, and our home is at 298 East 8th Street. Thank you, Council, for considering to add Chapter 9 parking ordinance to our city code. I'd like to first commend Mr. Ward and Mr. Mills for their diligence in developing a parking ordinance that is greatly needed both for our city and for the university as we grow. 2 years ago, the university started requiring both faculty and students to pay for parking. Immediately, residential streets around the campus became overflow student parking lots because students and faculty chose not to pay for parking. As a result, area single-family residents lost the ability to park in their own homes. By formulating a parking ordinance, many residential parking problems can be addressed in a systematic, organized method to analyze city streets that are also single-family residential areas. Prior to development of this ordinance, there has not been a system to allow for single-family residential restrictions to parking in the city code. Cities and towns that are similar in size and have parking ordinances have been studied to make up the necessary components of this Chapter 9 parking ordinance. In particular, we looked at Burlington, Vermont, because when you add Tennessee Tech's enrollment to the city of Cookeville, it's nearly exactly an exact match. As we have moved through the process to get to today, our nine-member planning commission, after consideration, voted unanimously, all 9 members, to move forward and pass the Chapter 9 parking ordinance, including your appointed council representative, Councilman Walker. COVID-19 and the explosive increase of the university online classes due to social distancing guidelines have certainly altered the student population coming onto the university campus in recent weeks. We feel that certain problem parking situations will again manifest themselves as soon as the 10,000 plus students and commuters are fully back at the university for in-person classes. With this in mind, I would like to request the City Council to continue the forward-thinking approval of the Planning Commission by voting to approve the Chapter 9 parking ordinance. This will provide a standing city code to govern how both single-family residents and city government officials may proceed when necessary in the future to address protecting our city streets as well as our single-family neighborhoods in the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Vandergriff. Anyone else? All right, we will close the public hearing portion. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please come up. Didn't see your hand.
My name is Greg Vandergriff. I'm property owner at 298 East 8th. Cookeville is growing rapidly, and as it grows, parking continues to be an ongoing issue. The residential parking ordinance that you are considering this evening is an important first step in protecting and preserving the wonderful residential areas of our city. I ask that you pass the ordinance. As you're aware, the proposed ordinance was passed unanimously by the Planning Commission. Thank you again for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Vandergriff. Anyone else? All right, we will close the public hearing portion. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to amend the ordinance as presented, motion to amend the ordinance as presented.
Okay.
I'd like to insert the language into this ordinance that states that households within one block of any established residential parking district may participate in the residential parking program. Those households located within one block who wish to participate may obtain any applicable parking permits approved for the district.
Okay, so you're motioning to move approval with this, with the addition of your language that you just inserted.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Now, comments or questions from the council? Anybody?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to discuss that just briefly. The major change you're seeing there is just to allow neighboring homeowners in that residential area to also benefit from the publicly owned parking area. And one other thing that I would like to emphasize is that this ordinance does not it paves the way to petition a parking area in the future. But that does have to meet certain requirements. I know a lot of people think that this, is directed around 8th Street. And, my personal opinion is that right now, because of the COVID-19 situation in Tennessee Tech and online enrollment, you're not seeing the same parking problems that you have in the past. And so, if this parking issue on 8th Street does come back and is in full swing, this will give you an avenue to pursue that. I certainly wouldn't want to see something fail because it was presented during, this time where we Tech has altered its schedules and different parking situations in that area have altered. So, but this certainly will pave that way for any residential area like that to make changes as needed. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Miller, do you have anything?
Is this for the amendment, or is this for the entire?
He amended before we started, so the motion, so we have the amended item on the floor.
Yeah, all I have to say is, I wanted to make sure the city looks into how we're going to enforce it. I think we probably need to do studies. Are we going to start parking enforcement, because Broad Street has issues as well, and if we start adding other residential districts, are we going to have parking enforcement officers? Because I don't want to utilize our police officers' resources to for parking violations. So I just hope we can do a study on that.
Okay. You have anything? Okay. I would just reiterate the point Councilman Walker made, that this isn't adding this into this particular area yet. It's merely putting the mechanism in place that this district or others could request it in the future, and it would already be ready for that. So just to be clear to everyone. So any other comments or questions? All right, roll call, please.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Shelton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton,
Aye.
Councilman Walker,
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7B, consider approval to purchase 2 police pursuit vehicles, obviously for the police department. Chief Evans.
Mayor and council, as you know, back in July, you approved 2 patrol vehicles for purchase. We subsequently learned that those vehicles, as we had spec'd them, were not available. So obviously we can't purchase those. So we did learn that there were 2 Dodge Chargers available from a dealership that under the statewide contract. Apparently these vehicles were ordered by another jurisdiction, and they declined to purchase those, so they are available for purchase. The total vehicle cost is $50,080.50 for those 2 vehicles. As I stated, they are on the statewide contract and they are budgeted items, and I would recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions from the council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Shelton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton,
Aye.
Councilman Walker,
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7C, consider approval to purchase 1 66-foot digger derrick truck utilizing the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative for the electric department. Carl Haney.
Mayor and council members, I'm requesting your approval to purchase this 66-foot digger derrick truck through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative for $374,237.
The lead time on this vehicle is 390 days, so we would be placing the order now, but it would be put in the 2021-22 budget to actually be paid for at that time. So I'd be happy to answer any questions and recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Shelton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton,
Aye.
Councilman Walker.
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
7D, consider approval of final balance charge change order for 2020 Willow Avenue Water Improvement Project, Water Quality Control Department. Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor and council, I'm seeking council's authorization for the city manager to enter in a final balance and change order number 2 with Madewell Construction. We've completed the South Willow Avenue water line project. This will add $3,262.50 to the final balance. We have done final measurements and ran over on some of the paving patching, and that's what's included in this final estimate.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Shelton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton,
Aye.
Councilman Walker.
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7E, consider authorizing the city manager to enter into a SPALS inspection and repair proposal, 10 milligram concrete water tank. Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor and council, we're seeking city manager authorization to enter into this SPALS and inspection repair on our 10 million gallon concrete water tank with Crom LLC. Crom Tank is the tank constructors that originally built the tank, and they're uniquely qualified to perform these detailed inspections and needed repairs. We have, let me get the slides going. We've negotiated a sum of $14,400 and would recommend approval. The SPALs I'm talking about are on the photos. It's where the tank's supposed to have some, when the tank moves, there's some padding underneath. We think there was concrete there that didn't let it move, so it causes some stresses, and there's a few spots like that. These guys are very familiar with it, and we're confident they can get that repaired, and I would recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Shelton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton,
Aye.
Councilman Walker.
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
7F, consider awarding bid for the 2020 South Jefferson Avenue CCTV project, water quality control. Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor and council, we've taken bids on some sewer line TV work on South Jefferson in anticipation of the TDOT repaving project they've got scheduled in the next coming year and a half. CK Masonry was the low bidder at $53,852.25, and we'd recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Shelton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton,
Aye.
Councilman Walker.
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
And the final item, sponsored by Ronnie Kelly tonight, would be consider awarding bid for 2020 Womack Avenue water improvement project.
Mayor and council, we have taken bids on a small water line project over on Womack Avenue off of 10th Street. There's a couple of streets in there where the water lines run in behind the houses, some old galvanized lines. We want to replace those. We've taken bids. Madewell Construction was the low bidder at $100,890 and would recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Shelton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wheaton,
Aye.
Councilman Walker.
Aye.
4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our agenda portion of the meeting. We have time at the end on anyone that would like to address the council on non-agenda items. Do we have anyone that would like to address the council on anything not on the agenda? All right. Council members, anybody have anything? Just for clarification, did we have somebody? No?
Brenda.
Oh, yeah. Brenda?
Yeah, no.
We'll come back to council in just a second. Number 9, hearing from officer, hear report on the $8,875,000 general obligation bond series 2020. Ms. Emmel.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a very brief update to let you know how our bond sale went. Back in August, council authorized a not to exceed $19 million in general obligation bonds. The primary purpose of the bonds was the police headquarters construction and the purchase of 2 fire apparatus, an aerial truck and a rescue pumper. The bonds were reviewed and rated by Moody's as a AA2, which is the same rating as our last bond. The attorney issued an opinion on the bonds. They were tax-exempt bank qualified. The competitive sale was held on August 27th, and Truist Securities was the low bid with a true interest cost of 1.312828%. We had received 5 bids ranging from that low bid up to 1.461847. The bonds will be repaid over 15 years, and we closed on the bonds on September 18th. Proceeds from the bonds was $9,988,049.35. $38,442 went to the underwriter for their discount. Bond issue cost totaled $71,325. $17,000 was the bond counsel fee. $17,000 was the Moody's bond rating agency fee. $26,625 was the financial advisor fee, and other miscellaneous bond closing costs was $10,700. The net proceeds that went into our construction account that will be used to fund the projects, $9,887,282.09. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Did council have anything from anybody? No? Just for clarification, I know there was a public hearing that was originally scheduled for tonight, and it was postponed till October 15th because the thought was there would only be 3 council members here. Out of transparency, I'm here tonight. I was going to be attending my daughter's, my twins' final high school 9th grade volleyball game in Murfreesboro, but it was canceled due to some issues at the school. So that's why we have now enough to have the meeting, but we'd already advertised that it would be held the next meeting. So that'll be the October 15th meeting on Thursday. So everyone be safe. We are adjourned.